What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video here on B-Mills Wrestling. In today's video, I'm going to be predicting who I think will dethrone every current champion within the WWE. Before we get into this video, if you guys are not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss any new videos, and don't forget to leave a like down below. Alright guys, let's get into these predictions. The first champion that we have is the undisputed WWE champion, and that is John Cena. John Cena obviously captured his 17th world title back at WrestleMania in April, and he's held it all the way up to this point. But I do think that the end is near for John Cena's title reign. I do believe that Cody Rhodes will win back the title at SummerSlam. We know that's the confirmed match because Cody Rhodes won the King of the Ring tournament and obviously chose John Cena to go one-on-one against. I really don't want John Cena to lose, if I'm being honest. I want him to hold the title as long as he possibly can, maybe till December. I just don't think that's what they're going to do. I think John Cena's going to lose at SummerSlam, and I think he's going to turn back to being a babyface. Now, I'm not sure how they do this, if they just have him lose to Cody and then slowly build to becoming a babyface before he retires, or if they just do a damn double turn at SummerSlam, which I'm seeing a lot of people talk about. I would love that, to see, Cody go heel and Cena go back to being a face. That would be one of the most memorable SummerSlam moments of all time, one of the most memorable moments of all time if they did something like that. I mean, John Cena's heel turn was crazy, but like a heel turn of Cody Rhodes and, bringing back babyface Cena, like that would be unbelievable. I really do hope that happens. I'm not sure. I really don't want to see a babyface Cody Rhodes win back the title, though. I liked a lot of his title reign when he was WWE champion, but I also didn't like a lot of it, like the Solo Sikoa stuff. I just was not a fan of at all, and a few other little feuds he was having. I would, love to see him as a heel as a champion, because then you can dive into like these new feuds with babyfaces like CM Punk, Randy Orton, who could be the face in that scenario, LA Knight, like a babyface Roman Reigns. Like there's like endless amount of opportunities that they can do with Cody as a heel and holding the WWE Championship. Do I know that's going to happen for sure? No, I think it's kind of like a 50-50, maybe even below that. But like the WrestleMania match for the title, it was just not good. Like the match was horrible. Probably John Cena's worst match on his retirement tour, if I'm being honest with you guys. So why run back that match at SummerSlam if you're just going to have the same result? Like I said, I want John Cena to continue to hold the championship, but from a logical standpoint, why run back an awful match at WrestleMania if you're just going to have Cena beat Cody again? Like they could have done Cena and CM Punk instead. Obviously, that would have been on a bigger field than Night of Champions, and obviously that was awesome. But like, you get what I'm saying. I just think that Cody Rhodes is going to win back the title. I really don't see any other world, whether he's a babyface and he wins the title back, or he turns heel, which I think would be awesome. Either way, the next champion we have is the World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther. Gunther obviously is on his second world title reign. He obviously won back the title from Jey Uso about a month ago, I want to say, after losing that title at WrestleMania, after he tapped out in 5 seconds, which was ridiculous. Gunther is one of the more tough ones to predict, in my opinion, because I could see WWE going in two directions with this title reign. Either they saw him as a transitional champion this time around, or they want to rewrite the wrongs of his last title reign because it was so bad, and they want to actually give him good feuds and good matches. I'm fine with either, if I'm being honest with you. Like, there are so many good opponents that Gunther can feud with that we didn't see, like LA Knight, CM Punk, who we're getting at SummerSlam, Penta, AJ Styles. More that I'm not naming. He could have a great title reign if they just let him go against these opponents and not Jey Uso 5 million times and a 58-year-old Goldberg. Like, you know what I mean? And he was like fighting Tozawa and stuff. Like his title reign, it was just so bad. So I could see them wanting to just rewrite the wrongs of it. But I could also, like I said, see that him being a transitional champion just because they wanted Goldberg to be in a world title match in his retirement match, and they wanted Gunther to be the match for Goldberg, so that's why they had Gunther win back the world title. Maybe they didn't see any future plans past Saturday night's main event for him holding the world title, or SummerSlam, I guess I should say. We know we're going to get Gunther and Punk at SummerSlam. I'm super excited for that match. It's going to main event night 1. I'm going to be there. I'm excited for this. I think that this could be CM Punk's best match since returning to WWE. I think that these two could really steal the show. I'm very invested into this match from an in-ring standpoint. From a feud standpoint, I'm also interested in it because it feels like a fresh feud for both of these men. CM Punk especially, because I feel like every feud CM Punk's been in, it's been about, oh, like you left the company, I hate you, right? All this with Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre is what I'm basically saying. Now, like, Gunther is not going to talk about that. This is a wrestling match. This is going to be about who is the best in the world between Gunther and CM Punk. And that's why I'm so happy about it, because we're not going to see the same stuff we saw from the Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins feud. I'm honestly, I'm getting kind of bored of that at this point. I want CM Punk to be in different storylines. This Gunther storyline just feels so refreshing because he feuded with Drew McIntyre for a year, which was needed because Punk was hurt. He feuded with Seth Rollins for the longest time, and Roman Reigns for a little bit. It's time, to put him into new feuds, and Gunther as well. Like I said before, Gunther feuded with Jey Uso like a bunch. He's going against like an old Goldberg. Like, we want to see him have an actual interesting feud, and that is exactly what CM Punk's going to be. So I'm really excited for this match at SummerSlam. And I think, like a lot of these matches, it's so unpredictable. I really don't know who's going to come out as winner because of what I said about Gunther, the rewriting the wrongs. But I could also see them wanting to put the title back on CM Punk because, this would be his first world title reign in WWE since returning back in 2023. Obviously, he completed his goal of main eventing WrestleMania. So I feel like what's next for CM Punk? I think that's winning a world title, if I'm being honest with you. I think he is above the world title at this point, obviously. He doesn't need it, but I think it would just be awesome to see him get a nice title reign. I think there's a lot of good feuds you could throw him into. And like I said, think about how memorable his 434-day title reign was back in 2011 to 2013, right? Like, if they can just do at least like 50% of what that was, it's going to bring in WWE fans. It's going to attract new fans. So I do want to see that, and I actually do think CM Punk will be the one to dethrone Gunther at SummerSlam. Just like I think Cody will dethrone Cena, I think Punk's going to dethrone Gunther. Like I said, very 50-50 on this, but I do hope and I think that we will see CM Punk come out as the new World Heavyweight Champion at SummerSlam. Moving on to the next champion, and that is the WWE Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton, where she will go one-on-one with Jade Cargill at SummerSlam. And I feel like this is going to be a heavy trend, but I think Jade Cargill will be the one to dethrone Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam. I think we're going to see a lot of title changes at SummerSlam. We saw a lot of title changes at SummerSlam last year. I think Cody Rhodes was the only one to retain his title last year, if I'm being honest. I'm not sure how many new champions we had at SummerSlam. It might have been like 4 or 5, something like that. But I think we're going to see a repeat of that. I think we're going to get a lot of new champions. I think Jade Cargill is going to be one of them. I'm not the biggest Jade Cargill fan, if I'm being honest with you. I don't really see what they see in her. They've obviously strapped a rocket to her back ever since she's returned, and she's now been going as a singles superstar. Obviously, she was a tag team champion before. Picked up a singles win at WrestleMania over Naomi. She's just been nonstop winning. She's the queen of the ring. Like, they obviously see something in her. And I think that she's not obviously the best in the ring. I think that she's not the best on the mic, but either way, she's getting this title shot at SummerSlam, and I do think she's going to win because I don't think that Triple H would give her this big push. Like I said, starting at WrestleMania, getting that win, and then getting the Queen of the Ring just for her to lose at SummerSlam. I don't think Tiffany Stratton's title reign has been too good either. I think there's like 2 matches that stand out from her title reign in the span of like over 200 days. I think that's kind of underwhelming, if I'm being honest with you. She's still super young. She has so much time. She's going to have more title reigns. Like, it's going to get better from here. But I think it's time that she does lose the title. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Jade fan, but I'm also not the biggest fan of this Tiffany Stratton title reign. I'm a Tiffany Stratton fan, but not this title reign. Hasn't been that good. I think we need to change the scenery with that title. I think we need to dive into new things, and I think that's Jade Cargill. Give the title to Jade Cargill at SummerSlam. Hopefully she can put on a half-decent match. I don't want another underwhelming match from this Tiffany title reign. I'm thinking of the Charlotte match. That was just a letdown, if we're being honest. I hope we don't get another letdown at SummerSlam. The 2 of these females are obviously both babyface at the time, so I don't know if like a heel turn's coming from one of them, or they're just going to go into SummerSlam as babyfaces. I could be the possibility. But like I said, I do think Jade is going to be the one to take this title because I just don't really see what else Tiffany's going to do in this title reign. I don't know who else she's going to feud with. Whereas if you give the title to Jade Cargill, I feel like there's fresh new opportunities. And, like I said, with Tiffany holding the title for over 200 days, I think it's time that we shake things up and we get a new champion at SummerSlam. So I do think that Jade Cargill will dethrone Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam. The next champion we have is the Women's World Champion, Naomi. I actually have been loving the work from Naomi. I've been raving about it for a while on a lot of my videos. I've just loved the heel work from her. I think the heel turn was super necessary, and she's doing, in my opinion, what is the best work of her career within the WWE. So far, I've loved like the promo she's cutting. Like, she's that arrogant heel that doesn't care. And I think it's perfect for her. It fits her so well. And, I'm just happy to see like a fresh world champion that I hope they can book right, because obviously they didn't know how to book Io Sky at all. As for Rhea Ripley, they just don't know how to book her out of the world title picture. We know that we're going to see Naomi versus Rhea versus Io at SummerSlam, which is going to be a great match. Don't get me wrong. I just wish we were getting something else, like something, with somebody else other than Rhea Ripley in Io Sky. But like I said, the match is going to be super good. I'm excited. But as for who dethrones Naomi, I don't think it's either Rhea Ripley or Io Sky. I actually think it's going to end up being Bianca Belair. I think Bianca Belair is the only person that's suitable to dethrone Naomi. She's the only person, in my opinion, that makes sense because of the whole storyline of Naomi turning heel, taking out Jade Cargill, and then basically, backstabbing Bianca Belair, and then having that whole emotional segment that they did have. They had a few of them. Naomi, saying she went to Bianca's house when she wasn't there. A lot of personal stuff, right? Like, this is going to be a really good feud. It's going to cook. Obviously, we have to wait for it because Bianca, she isn't fully healed. She's not going to be able to go at SummerSlam because of the finger injury that she has. I don't know when she's exactly going to get cleared. I don't know when this match is going to take place. I don't know where it's going to take place. I did a predictions video of predicting the world title to WrestleMania. I said it's going to be Bianca versus Naomi at WrestleMania, with maybe Bianca winning the Royal Rumble. I'm not sure. I know she won the Chamber last year, so I don't know if they want to have her win the Chamber and then win the Royal Rumble the next year. I'm not sure. But at some point, I think we're going to get Bianca versus Naomi for that world title. I think Naomi's got a lot of good feuds sitting in front of her, like the one going into SummerSlam is going to be okay. I think, Bayley is another big feud she has to get into. I could see Bayley being the one to dethrone her as well, but I think Bianca just makes more sense. So I think, it's going to be Bianca. No matter where it is, I think Bianca Belair is the person to dethrone Naomi for that Women's World Championship. The next champion we have is the United States champion, Solo Sikoa. We obviously know Solo Sikoa just won that U.S. title back at Night of Champions in a match versus Jacob Fatu. Now, he'll go one-on-one at SummerSlam with Jacob Fatu in a steel cage match. That's obviously going to be the rematch from Night of Champions. I think Jacob Fatu is going to be the one to dethrone Solo Sikoa. I do. Like I said before, I think there's a lot of unpredictable matches at SummerSlam. This is one of them because Solo Sikoa just won that title, and I really do want to see Solo have a good run. I want to see what he can do with that title. I think he deserves that title with the character work that he's been doing. But I also just think it makes sense for Jacob Fatu to win back the title. They could do a story where he continues to chase the title. He gets screwed at SummerSlam, maybe that is the case. But I'm not saying that Solo's gonna lose at SummerSlam, but I think that the ultimate end goal is Jacob Fatu. I don't think there's any other person that makes sense to take the title from Solo Sikoa. I think it has to be Jacob Fatu, whether that's at SummerSlam or whether that's at Clash in Paris or just a future PLE. I think Jacob eventually will win that title. It could be like a Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan situation where, Rhea just kept getting screwed. The debut of Raquel and then Dom turning on her. It could be a ton of that stuff. And then, it ultimately ends with Jacob Fatu defeating Solo Sikoa. Because, like I said, I think he's the only person that makes sense. Maybe a Jimmy Uso, but I just don't really see them doing that. It has to be Jacob Fatu, right? I honestly don't hope that it's at SummerSlam. I kind of want to see Solo continue to hold the title. Maybe they write off Jacob Fatu after the steel cage match at SummerSlam, and then they have Solo have new fresh feuds, because I want to see that. And then maybe Jacob Fatu makes his return at some point in the near future, and then he takes out Solo and he wins back the title. That's what I hope happens. So like I said, I think that Jacob Fatu will be the one to dethrone Solo Sikoa. The next champion we have is the Intercontinental Champion, Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio obviously won that IC title back at WrestleMania, had an awesome moment, running back to the ring. I was really excited for his title reign. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was super excited for it. I thought the potential of it, they could have done a lot. Nope, they haven't done anything with this title reign. It's been a letdown, if we're being honest. This title reign has sucked. He had, no feuds other than AJ Styles. And this AJ Styles feud, don't get me wrong, it's been really fun. I've actually really enjoyed it. But, just the feuds before that. He had a match with Octagon at Money in the Bank that was literally announced the day of. That was a AAA event before Money in the Bank. That's when the feud started. And Octagon's not even in WWE. And I know he had a match with Penta at Backlash, but that was an ongoing storyline that was kind of getting boring. He hasn't had any good storylines. A lot of it's just been him being involved in the Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez storyline, right? Nothing really to do with his title. But now, obviously, like I said, the AJ Styles storyline has been really fun. It's been a comedic relief type storyline, which I think is fun because we don't have Carlito on Raw anymore. We don't really have the comedic relief. But, AJ's been doing some great work. I will say that. I do think AJ Styles will be the one to dethrone Dominic Mysterio at SummerSlam. I'm not like fully sold on this because I could see obviously them doing Finn Balor being the one to dethrone Dominic Mysterio. But in my opinion, I think we're going to see a repeat of what happened last year with Finn Balor costing Dominic Mysterio the IC title at SummerSlam. Like he costed Damian Priest last year, costing him the world title against Gunther. I think we're going to see a repeat in some way, shape, or form. I think Judgment Day is going to lose all the gold come SummerSlam. I think that Raquel and Roxanne, I'm going to get into. I think they're going to lose the titles. I think eventually Finn and JD are going to lose the titles. I think we're going to see the Judgment Day split up. I think it has to happen. It's been getting teased for so damn long now. I feel like they just got to pull the trigger and do it. Obviously, we could see Dom and Finn for the IC title. That would be fun. I just think we're not. I think we're going to give the title to AJ, and I think that we're going to see, Dom and Finn feud without the title, like we saw Priest and Finn feud. I am excited for that storyline. I think that, we should have gotten it going into SummerSlam. Maybe we were going to, but obviously Liv Morgan's injury kind of messed up everything, so I'm not sure what the total plan is. Maybe Dominic Mysterio does retain at SummerSlam, but like I said, I think AJ Styles will be the one to dethrone Dominic Mysterio for that title at SummerSlam. The next champion is the Women's Intercontinental Champion, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch has had an outstanding title reign. Probably one of the best title reigns going in WWE. The feuds with Bayley and Lyra Valkyria have been awesome. That's probably been literally the best feud going in WWE right now. We know that we're going to see Becky go against Lyra in their trilogy match at SummerSlam for that title, and it's going to cook. I know it's going to cook. The first two matches they had cooked. The triple threat with Bayley absolutely cooked. But like I said, this has been such a fun title reign from Becky Lynch. It's making this title literally feel more important than the Women's World Championship and the WWE Women's Championship. That's how important they've made this title feel. I wish they could do that for the Women's US title. They probably can. They just choose not to. But this Women's IC title, it's just been so fun, and it just feels so prestige. But I do think that Becky Lynch will lose the title to Lyra Valkyria at SummerSlam, just because I think that this whole storyline has been about elevating the Women's IC title and elevating Lyra Valkyria. It's done exactly that. Bayley and Becky have done an amazing job of elevating both the title and Lyra. Lyra's your young superstar that obviously got called up last year. And, having her win the first ever Women's IC title was great. But she wasn't really getting the reactions. They weren't letting her cook on the mic. But, now she has. We're getting to see her cut promos, weekly and put on these banger matches with these future Hall of Famers and Becky Lynch and Bayley. They're letting her, blossom into a top star that could hopefully get into the main event soon within the next couple of years. I think that's a huge possibility. So I do think it ends with Becky Lynch putting over Lyra at SummerSlam. I think if you have Becky win this trilogy against Lyra, that kind of hurts her a little bit. It wouldn't hurt her too much, but I think it just ends with Lyra beating Becky. I think, if you want to elevate the young superstar, put over the young talent, I think that's the perfect place to do it. Obviously, I would love to see Becky continue to hold the title because I am a big Becky Lynch fan. I would love to see her hold it for a couple more months, feud with Stephanie Valkyria maybe or something like that. But obviously, Stephanie is going to be having a world title match at Clash in Paris, so I don't know if we would get that anyway. But like I said, I do expect Lyra Valkyria to dethrone Becky Lynch at SummerSlam for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. All right, now let's talk about the current Women's United States Champion, Julia. They don't know what they're doing with this damn Women's US title. They do not know how to book it at all. Think about how it started. Chelsea Green, she was on fire when she won the title, and then she was just put in a million matches with Michin and Zelina Vega, and then the title reign ended. It just got so boring. Zelina Vega's title reign was even worse. I don't know what they were doing with her. And then Julia, I was excited for her to win this title because she's so damn good in the ring. I felt like that she could have been a really good U.S. champion. We've had her title reign, I think, for 4 or 5 weeks, and we've only seen her in the Evolution Battle Royal. Why? I have no idea. Why are you not putting one of your champions on screen every week? I just don't get it, man. This mid-card on SmackDown is so horrible. Comparing that to Raw, I literally don't understand. Same can be said with the tag team division on SmackDown and Raw. The levels, it's crazy difference. But I think SmackDown, they need to do something. Maybe that's putting some Raw superstars over on SmackDown, calling people up, which I'm going to get to. I think that this might be a crazy take, but I think the person to dethrone Julia for that title is going to be Sol Ruca. When I look at the SmackDown not the SmackDown tag division, when I look at the SmackDown women's mid-card division, it's really bad. Zelina Vega, she's not going to win back the title. Chelsea Green, I don't see her winning back the title. I think it's got to be a babyface because Julia is a heel. Mi Chin, I just don't think Mi Chin deserves that title. I don't think they tried to make us care about Mi Chin enough to really just give her a title. I don't see that happening. And there's really nobody else. So I think Sol Ruka could be honestly perfect to dethrone Julia for that title. Now, I have no idea when this would be. Maybe Julia holds the title for a long time. I'm not sure. But I think when Sol Ruka gets called up, I think that she'd be a perfect candidate to win that title from Julia. Sol Ruka's gotten super over with the crowd down in NXT. She's just an incredible wrestler and in-ring performer. And she has aura, man. Obviously, like, her gimmick, like, it's a fun gimmick. Like, obviously, a lot of people aren't going to like that. She's a double champion as well. She's the Speed champion and the North American champion. Not sure how much longer she's going to hold those titles, but, like, she would be a really fun main roster female wrestler. Like, I would love to see her on SmackDown and help this division out. And like I said, I think that she could be a sneaky candidate to dethrone Julia. Like, when I looked at the landscape of the roster, I didn't see anybody else. I was looking at Alexa Bliss, but, like, she's involved in this tag team stuff with Charlotte going into SummerSlam. I think they're going to win the titles. So I just don't see that happening because, even when they lose the titles, I think they're going to feud with each other. Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, that is. So I just don't see Alexa being around this title for a while. So in my opinion, I think it'll be Sol Ruka to dethrone Julia for the Women's U.S. Championship. And maybe that'll be her first match on the main roster. Maybe they'll do something crazy like that. I'm not too sure, but I think it's going to be Sol Ruka. All right, now it's time to move over to the tag division where we have the SmackDown Tag Team Champions of the Wyatt Six, currently held by Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy. Now, obviously, I think it was a bit controversial that they won these titles. I didn't want it, if I'm being honest with you. They just came back. I just feel so rushed to put the tag titles on them. But I get it, I guess. I don't know what they're exactly planning for them. This tag division has been really fun. Like, the SmackDown tag division is, like, the best thing going. One of the best things going in WWE. I just love how hectic it is with all these amazing tag teams. But obviously, as for who dethrones the Wyatts, I had a tough time narrowing this down because there's not really any stories, like, with them other than the fact that the entire tag division is trying to take them down. Sorry about that. But obviously, we just saw the Street Profits as champion. We saw DIY as a champion. DIY. I'm slurring my words. Obviously, we just saw Motor City Machine Guns as champions as well. Pretty Deadly. They've been out of action. Las Garzas, they're the AAA tag champions. I just don't see WWE obviously putting the tag titles on them right now. Obviously, Rey Fenix and Andrade, they have the tag title match against the Wyatts. I'm not sure when that is. I think that's next week on SmackDown or 2 weeks from now. I'm not too sure. But maybe they could dethrone them. I don't think so. I just feel like the Wyatts are going to hold it past SummerSlam. So that's going to bring me to the team that I think will dethrone the Wyatt Six, and that is Fraxium. Not anything to do with storyline or anything like that. Just for the sheer fact that Fraxium is the best tag team in the frickin' world. Like, they are so damn good in ring. I enjoyed their tag title reigns down in NXT, and they are so deserving of being on the main roster. Like, they are so talented. So I really do want to see them be next in line for those titles. I think that WWE's done a good job of, like, really spreading the tag titles around. Like, I didn't mention, like, the Bloodline Tonga Loa Tama Tonga. They had a title reign as well. So they've really been giving the titles to a lot of the teams, which I think is awesome. I think Fraxium's next in line. I think they have to be. If they can, do what they did in NXT with those tag titles, which they will be able to because SmackDown has the best tag division in the world. Like, they're going to be able to cook and have amazing matches as champions. So I really would like to see Fraxium be the one to dethrone the Wyatts for the tag titles on SmackDown. Now moving over to the current Raw Tag Team Champions, the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and JD McDonough. This is probably the hardest one to predict because the Raw Tag Division is so dead. I just don't care about any of these teams on Raw, like, compared to SmackDown. That's why I feel like you need to, get a team or two from SmackDown, put them on Raw, and see where you can go from there. But yeah, as for who defeats them for the titles, I'm just gonna say LWO. Obviously, they just earned a title match versus the Judgment Day. They won a triple threat number one contenders match. I'm not sure that's gonna be the match where they win, but, like, we don't want to see the New Day as champions again because that reign was awful. I don't want to see the War Raiders as champions again because their reign wasn't good. I'm not just interested in them. I don't think it's going to be the Creed brothers, especially with Chad Gable out. I just don't think that they're going to win. There's not any other teams on Monday Night Raw. Like, this tag division stinks, man. Like, I don't even want to see LWO be the ones to dethrone the Judgment Day because I have no interest in them. Yes, they're incredible in-ring performers, but like these guys like are never talking on the mic. Like, you're not interested in them from a character standpoint. But I think it will be them because I think that Judgment Day is going to lose all the gold fairly soon. Like I said, I think Dom's going to lose at SummerSlam, costed by Finn. I think that we're going to see Raquel and Roxanne lose to Charlotte and Alexa, which is the last one that I'm going to get into. But I also believe that if that's all happening, that Finn, obviously, Finn and JD, they obviously have to lose the tag titles. Because I feel like if Dom and then Roxanne and Raquel are going to lose the titles, they have to too. Like, they got to go from all the gold to no gold. Like, that's what's going to happen. And like I said, I think it's going to be LWO just because I just have a feeling Triple H just wants to give the titles to somebody else who hasn't held them, like a fresh tag team, which I guess LWO kind of is. But like I said, am I excited for that? Absolutely not. I'm not excited for a damn thing that goes on in this Raw tag division. But I do think LWO will be the team to take out Judgment Day for those tag titles. And finally, that brings us to the final tag team on this list, and that is the women's tag champions of Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. Obviously, Roxanne Perez didn't actually win that title. She's filling in for the currently injured Liv Morgan, but they've been retaining that title. They've been defending the title. I think they have 2 or 3 successful title reigns. I'm not too sure. But it does seem like WWE is starting to try a little more with the tag division for the women. That's a good sign. Asuka and Kairi Sane are back in the mix, which I think is awesome. Obviously, we saw Sol Ruca and Zarya getting involved in the main roster tag action. And now, obviously, Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, this newly formed tag team. So we're seeing them try a little more, which I think is super needed. And I do think Charlotte and Alexa Bliss will dethrone Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez for those tag titles at SummerSlam. I know I have a lot of title changes happening at SummerSlam, but I think they're bound to happen. I think this one has to happen because I've loved this storyline with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. Like, it's actually, had me interested. I haven't been interested in a thing Charlotte Flair has done in years, but now that she's finally getting to express, her actual self, right, not just play like the queen character who's always going after the world titles, we're finally getting to see her do something different, do something fresh, which is just so needed, especially at this point of her career. So it's good to see her finally getting cheers because, she's not, this queen heel chasing the title, like I said, the entire time. And Alexa Bliss has obviously been awesome. Like, she's always been one of my favorites. So to see her getting closer to winning some gold in WWE again, that's awesome. I just think it has to happen. Obviously, I think that a heel turn from one of the two is going to happen later down the line. But let's not talk about that now. Let's just talk about what they can do as tag champions, and that is elevate the tag division, which is obviously, like I said, super needed. When you have these 2 stars, these 2 mega stars, future Hall of Famers, holding those tag titles, like, they're going to make people interested in the tag division. Kind of like when Jade Cargill and Bianca had the titles. That was the last time they were really relevant, if I'm being honest with you. They did such a good job of booking them. And they were on PLEs, like, all the time, defending the titles in, like, triple threats, fatal 4-way tags, stuff like that. So, yeah, if they can try again with this tag division, like, it does seem like they're starting to again. Putting the titles on Alexa and Charlotte would just be absolutely awesome. It would take these titles from down here to all the way up here. Give them good feuds, and they're gonna put on good matches, and that's exactly what these tag titles need. So I do think Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair will be the tag team to dethrone the Judgment Day at SummerSlam. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash the thumbs up down below. Don't forget to comment down below what future videos you guys want to see from me. Alright guys, peace.